Hello everyone, my name is Chris. I'm a member of the Migraine Body team. We've met in prior get-together sessions and in weather and migraine webinars. We may have chatted in the app as well. I'm a MB Plus coach. So first, I would like to welcome you to this community get-together session. At any time, feel free to ask questions in the chat box. Today we have quite a few speakers from the Migraine Body community. Maybe we have some joining later in a few minutes as well. They will be sharing their experience about combating seasonal migraine. You can turn on the auto captions at the bottom panel of the Zoom interface. Do take note, it might not be 100% accurate, and above all with my weird French accent. So today we want to keep this session to a maximum of 1 hour. Let's go first with a round of self-introduction from the speakers before we begin. So maybe we start with you, Megan.
Hi, good morning. It's about 9 a.m. in Texas. My name is Megan, chronic migraine sufferer for the past 5 years.
Great, welcome. What about you, Christine?
Hi, my name is Christine. It's 7 a.m. in California, Southern California. I am a chronic migraine sufferer. I have suffered migraines since I was a teenager.
Oh, wow. Welcome back, Mallory. What about you?
Hi, it's 10 a.m. in Pennsylvania, and I've been suffering with migraines since I was in like 3rd grade. And I'm still in high school. So.
Okay, so thank you very much, each of you, for being a panelist today. Let's take about 10 minutes of you can tell us about your experience with seasonal migraine, any kind of preventive measures you've taken, if you have any tips to share, things you wish that were available to help, and maybe some do's and don'ts in lifestyle choices, in medications, and behavioral measures you've taken and you'd like to share. So, Megan?
Personally, summertime is the worst for me. It's the glare and the heat that really does me in. And preventative measures I take are being ahead of hydration and drinking lots of cool beverages, nothing dehydrating like too much iced coffee, too much iced tea. So just lots of basically water. I have several pairs of sunglasses that I keep available at any given location, car, purse, anywhere. So those are always available and on hand. I have several hats that I wear. And just to ensure that I always have some sort of defensive mechanism on hand, I keep one of each of those with me at all times, and try to stay in the shade and excuse myself when I get overheated, and I just, let those, if I'm with anyone, know I might need to call it a day after an hour and a half. And I don't make apologies for how I need to take care of myself. I just do what I need to do because it will definitely work out better for myself and those that depend on me for the duration of that day and several days following. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
That's all I can do. It gets pretty hot in Texas, so we have to try and stay indoors or just in the shade as much as possible.
Have you experienced other places where you felt it was pretty different?
Not significantly different. Really just the overall seasonal patterns of the country. I've just noticed that in the heat, I do not do so well. Doesn't seem to matter where I'm located in the country. It's just the heat and the glare is not does not bode well for me.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And is there any season where you definitely feel better?
Definitely in the winter, and in that short time frame between summer and winter. And we don't have much of a fall here, but when the heat and humidity let up in the winter and in the early spring and late fall times of the year, is when it feels the best. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And are there things that you've seen over time, maybe things that you've learned, you wish you had known before, that make real difference, or things that you thought would make a difference and you realize that they don't make a difference at all?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So sometimes even just being in the shade will lead to overheating, and you might consider yourself safe if you're in the shade and not directly exposed to the sunlight. But if your body still feels the heat, if your body temperature still increases enough, I would still run a significant risk for having an attack. Additionally, my hydration. I didn't think that drinking cold water would do very much to help during and preventatively an encounter with a hot environment. But drinking cold water definitely gives me a big advantage over the effects of the heat and of the sweating that goes with the heat. I do have several very good ice packs at home. And if I anticipate not being able to return home, I might bring a cooler with one of my head wrap ice packs along with me, just to try and lower my body temperature. I wear it around my head or around my neck, since we've got a lot of blood vessels going on up here. And if we can get them cooled down, it can distribute cool sensations throughout our body. I'm a nurse too, so I know a lot about the effects that the heat and the glare can do to your body. So I try and focus on the hydration and the cool down effect, and just really listening to my body and what it's telling me.
Okay.
Yeah.
We got questions from the audience. One of them is, do you have trouble going in and out of cold air conditioning?
I do not. I welcome going into the cool. I do certainly feel a larger shift in my body temperature, going from being in a prolonged cooler environment indoors, and then going and sitting outside in the heat for 30 minutes or so. So being cooler for a significant amount of time and then suddenly switching to heat does feel, you definitely do feel it. Sometimes I try and acclimate myself a little bit to the warmth, if I'm able to, prior to getting into that much warmer environment. If I'm in the car, I will crack a window, let my body start acclimating to the heat, rather than just from going cool, hot. There's a more gentle transition there, so I don't feel the effects quite so intensely. Yeah.
Okay. Do you ever get migraine attacks during your sleep? That's one of the questions also coming through the chat.
Mm-hmm. Photosensitivity. Yeah. Ice pack helmet.
So does it make a difference at night?
It does make a difference at night. Nighttime is generally much cooler by several degrees, and you certainly don't have the glare to deal with. Mm-hmm. So that is definitely a kinder environment to be in. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I have several. I saw something comment up here about the sunglasses, the fluorescent lighting glasses. Personally, those have not helped me. I do own a pair, but so I give everything one good shot. And personally, for me, those did not help. I have, like I said, multiple pairs of sunglasses with varying shades of darkness to each of them. So just depending on the intensity of where I will be, that's what I will wear. Yeah, heat and humidity. Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Megan.
Yeah.
Is there, as a nurse, do you happen to? I guess you happen to meet people with migraine. Do you get testimonials from them about specific seasonal variations as well?
Not necessarily seasonal. Many of the people that I encounter, and I don't work specifically in a neurological or a headache specialist area. So many of those that are living with migraine, I'm encountering in the beginning of their journey. So generally, we're just trying to figure out what might be causing it and ruling out any pathological causes to their migraines, first of all. I always recommend downloading and utilizing Migraine Buddy because it has been so helpful in my walk with determining the triggers, frequency, all the things that go along with that. So in addition, just helping them navigate the beginning stages of that. I always throw in a good Migraine Buddy shout out because it has been so helpful for me. And I'm thankful that it was recommended to me at the very beginning of my journey so that I've been able to use it this whole time.
Okay. Thank you very much, Megan. I guess there will be many more questions in the chat, so do not hesitate to have a look at it and participate in the chat. Maybe answer directly to the question asked for you. Maybe we can now move to Christine.
Okay.
So Christine, yes, feel free to let us know about your experience with migraine in general, with seasonal migraine, and what you've learned. Anything you would like to share with us?
Okay. So I started with episodic migraine and transformed into chronic migraine. I'm originally from Michigan, so moving to Southern California, San Diego, we thought was going to be yay, less humidity. Yes, there's heat, but it's a different kind of heat in Southern California, we thought. And a year after we moved here, the humidity changed. And there's a whole weather craziness explanation to it. We heard a weather report on it. But since 2013, the humidity has been off the charts. So for me, humidity and heat combined can be ridiculously bad for my migraines. I remember one month I had close to 20, I want to say 20 to 25 migraines in 1 month. So for me, it could be heat and humidity or just humidity, because it's been like, I don't know, 67 degrees and I'll have a migraine. So as Megan mentioned, hydrating yourself, keeping myself cool, keeping up with my daily medications is also very important, my preventative medication, reducing as many risk factors as possible. And thank you to Migraine Buddy for helping me understand all that. I really appreciate that. And minimizing stress, all the things that I can do to help myself is very, very important. And as far as when I get a migraine, we have kind of like what we call a first aid kit for my husband. So I have the ice pack, the medicines, all in. We have like I guess the best way to call it is a kit, so that he knows what to do to help me. Mine most often come in the morning. I saw somebody mention that in the chat. So I'll wake up most often with a migraine. But they will sometimes come at the end of the day after a long day of heat and humidity. So I have to address it then as well. But I do thank Migraine Buddy and the team for helping me get through and learning a ton of information, more so than I have my entire life of dealing with migraines. And the migraine community too, as well, for helping me learn about some of the migraine hat. I saw that mentioned as well, the ice hat. It's been very helpful. One thing I wish Migraine Buddy did, I think you mentioned that, Chris, is I see that they announce humidity changes, but they don't track them. So I wish they could track and report humidity changes. That what does affect me personally. So that's my story.
Do you see changes with the medication? Maybe, well, most of us have tried medication and sometimes a number of different medications. Did you feel any change thanks to specific either preventive medication or abortive medication when weather hits a lot?
Yeah, I have. I had been on Botox for years. And just within the last year, I've had a change. And now I've tried several, the new ones, Aimovig. My apologies, my brain is a little. It's 7 o'clock in the morning, and I haven't had coffee yet. But anyway, I've tried several others of the new ones, but now I'm on Qulipta, and that seems to have reduced my chronic migraines. So far, I'm on the first month and a half, and it's reduced them by half. Even during this hot period. Now, September is not supposed to be a hot month in San Diego, but it's been the hottest month on record for a while. So it's kind of crazy that way. But it has reduced my migraines quite a bit. But yeah, I've come off Topamax, which I've heard they call Dopamax, because my brain fog is crazy. So I'm glad to get off that. But yeah, medication, and I would think, I know there've been a lot of conversations about doctors and what kind of doctors and neurologists versus regular doctors. And getting a headache doctor for me has been really critical since I've dealt with migraines since I was a teenager, and I'll just say in my 50s now. So it's a long time to be dealing with this disease. So it was very important for me to have a good neurologist and a good conversation with that neurologist as far as what medications to have. So
All right. Thank you for sharing your experience. You have a wealth of experience. Are there things that you would like to share with others, maybe with less experience with migraine, and say, these are the things that I would love I had known before, or these are the things that I would love I didn't try because it was a dead end?
Well, Botox for me was a lifesaver for many, many, many years. I mean, I'm going back to, like, I don't know, many, many years ago. I started in my 20s and 30s and with Botox. And if I hadn't have found that, I think I would have went nuts. I tried the new, like I said, Aimovig and Gality, and that didn't work, but I don't want to say don't try it just because it didn't work for me. Mm-hmm. And I'm so excited they're coming out with new medications. And I would just want to, like I said, just have a good conversation with your doctor. I would warn against Topamax because that's just my personal experience. I've heard a lot of other personal experiences where people say it causes brain fog. I've had my nurse tell me that it causes memory loss, and I've experienced that. And for me, it's just been not a good thing. And other things, like I said, just try to reduce the amount of things that cause you migraines. Stress, eating a good diet, drinking a lot of water. Trying to think, 7 o'clock in the morning. And just, trying to take care of yourself. I mean, one of my big things is self-care is not selfish. That's one thing as migraine sufferers we have to remember. And my husband tries to remind me all the time to take care of myself too. So I'm preaching it as much as I'm trying to practice it.
That's a very good advice. That's a very good advice. As we say every time, and we should never underestimate that. There is no shame for being sick. And migraine is a real condition, is one of the most debilitating conditions according to the WHO. So do not underestimate migraine, and do not feel guilty at any time. Never.
No.
Thank you very much, Christine. You may want to have a look at the chats, because I'm sure there will be a number of questions for you. Maybe we can switch to Mallory.
Hi guys. So to point out a few things, about whenever Christine talked about Topamax, I experienced the same like side effects. I mean, obviously, I don't know if that's like, you know, a main side effect or whatnot. I'm sure Megan might know, but yeah, but everything can be different for everyone. I feel like that's the main thing.
Somebody else from San Diego. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Yeah, I've tried a lot of different things. I think it started out for me with stress in like 3rd grade, just at school. And I ended up, you know, going into like therapy to talk about stress, to try to, you know, relieve like, you know, tension in my head. And then I started noticing when I get older, like when I've been getting older throughout the past like few years, I noticed with heat and humidity, like the others have talked about a lot, definitely a big thing, or super cold weather.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely like how Megan talked about if it's hot outside but you still go in the shade and your body temperature is still like hot. I feel like people don't realize that as much. So definitely try to cool off. That I've had some friends talk about or people in my life that talk about like rainy days and pressure within their like headaches. For me, rainy days are my favorite because if it's not hot, but then there's also humidity. So yeah, I've tried different medications that didn't necessarily help. And I've been through physical therapy and acupuncture, which helped for a few weeks, but then didn't. For a woman, there's, you know, birth control, which there's certain ones that, you know, are said to help with migraines, I guess. So I have that. And there's nothing that's really helped through what the neurologist recommended, but that's just me personally. But with the headache specialist, they recommended the headache device, Cephali, I think that's how you pronounce it. I have that. I tried it, but then I ended up getting like a sharp pain right here of my left eye. So I don't know if I'm using it right. So I'm going to talk to my headache specialist. I feel like that's a good thing, you know, to always make sure you're using it right so it doesn't do like reverse effects. And then I'm starting Botox in a week. I got my insurance approved it, which was surprising, but since I'm like 16, but so yeah, I guess we'll see how that goes. But with seasonal stuff, definitely, I feel like for me personally, it's hard to tell since I've been getting migraines for so long and I get like at least tension every day, regardless. But definitely like, you know, heat can, or certain weathers can make it worse, I feel like. Oh yeah.
You mentioned summer, but also winter, right?
Yeah, so I feel like it's mostly summer because humidity, But if it's like too cold in the winter and I'm like out too long, or, you know, if I'm like playing in the snow with my little cousins or something, you know, and like the snow head and it's really cold. So yeah.
So it sounds like it's big temperature switches in general, right? Or extreme temperatures in general.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And about Christine talking about self-care, I feel like a lot of people don't realize that either. I feel like that's like one of the main important things, and how it's not selfish at all. And it's okay to feel like people don't understand it, because, you know, everyone has their own issues. But that's why I feel like this app is great to be able to log your stuff, and like I hope everyone who deals with this, you know, can advocate, share their stories and stuff, because that can help other people a lot. And some people, because those people might get you and might be able to help you, and, you know, just sharing ideas off of each other.
Yeah, definitely. This is what we're trying to do with these get-together sessions, actually.
Definitely, yeah.
Thank you very much, Mallory. Thank you for sharing. Maybe to each of you, the one thing that we started with, I mean, Migrant Buddy started with weather, I think 5 or 6 years ago. And the very first thing we figured out was that everybody was, maybe not everybody, but a lot of people were mentioning weather pressure variations. So what are called barometric pressure variations or atmospheric pressure variations, that depends where you are in the world. But the idea is whenever there is a big switch in variation, so for instance, just before a storm or just after a storm with big weather changes, usually a number of people reported that they would have an attack. So you more or less mentioned the heat, the humidity. What about your personal experience with stormy weather and that kind of things?
I have, Chris, I noticed it definitely in Michigan, more so than Southern California, because it doesn't really rain here. But I have grandma knees, so, you know, that whole thing with the arthritis. Yeah, I do notice, but I do notice it in my headaches as well. Definitely before the storm and during the storm, I notice a headache. I've had coworkers who got the same headaches as well. We'll kind of compare notes. Here in Southern California, it'll threaten a storm and I'll get a headache, but it doesn't happen as often because the storms don't come along as often. You know, rain doesn't happen as often. But yeah, I personally do notice that as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Sorry, that's his comment. He gets upset when I get upset.
All right, thank you, Christine. Maybe I will give you a bit of insight on the weather features in the app, in case some people here are still discovering them or want to know more about it. So as you may know, when suffering from migraine, we should keep change in general under control. Unfortunately, the further we are from the equator, the more the changes, particularly now in spring for people in Southern Hemisphere or in autumn for people in Northern Hemisphere. So first of all, in the daylight duration change, and also in the weather changes. So this is one of the seasons, these two seasons, so where we have the biggest switch in temperatures, and also in the number of storms, wind, and that kind of things. So a few words on how to identify weather-related triggers to maximize attack-free days. So in the app, do not forget to add your location to each attack record to see how the weather was in the day prior to the attack. And also, if you're a MB Plus member, you receive your personal monthly weather reports with your score on weather-related risks. So pressure variations, humidity variations, temperature changes, and also UV index for a couple of months. Also make use of the weather forecast feature in the app so that you can avoid hazardous activities on risky days and take special care of your lifestyle protectors these days, as mentioned by Megan, Christine, and Mallory. This is very important. You know that migraine risk is a combination of many different factors. Obviously, weather is something that we can hardly control, but we can control many other things. We can control hydration, we can control exertion, we can control the food we eat, make sure that we eat at specific times so that we don't suffer from hunger. Try and control as much as you can the quality of your sleep, the duration of your sleep. If you suffer from bruxism, make sure that you wear a mouth guard at night, maybe at day if needed, and that kind of things. So it's a number of different lifestyle protectors, and if you build strong lifestyle protectors, it will be very, very helpful when there are adverse seasonal weather changes and things like that. So do not underestimate these. Really, really, these are, with a lot of help, building a strong set of lifestyle protectors is very important. It's very important for each of us, any age, any nationality, men, women, anyone. So maybe we can go through more questions in the audience. If you have more questions, do not hesitate to ask questions either to the panelists or to anyone, and we'll be happy to answer.
I saw something in the chat about not just drinking water, but with, hold on, I'm finding it. Water containing fruits is great as well. I try to drink Gatorade because the electrolytes, but I know that it's, has a lot of sugar. So my grandma did just give us this one thing. It's like contains less sugar, but it has electrolytes. It's like packets you pour in water. I don't know so that can also be another option. It's like different flavors and stuff.
Yep. We all have our tips and tricks, I would say. Some people do need sugar, some people try to avoid sugar. So really it's down to us and identifying our sensitivities and our protecting tricks as well. I mean, I don't know if you guys have specific things that you need to take at some stage or you need to avoid at any cost at some stage, particularly when you have you suffer from adverse weather conditions. Megan, is there any magic thing in Texas? I think you're mute. We cannot hear you.
What if you try to like mute her and then unmute her? Would that maybe work?
Maybe.
Oh.
No, we cannot hear you. Nope. Yep, there seems to be a microphone issue. Christine, anything you learned in California that you had not seen in Michigan before?
Well, one thing I do is I keep my water bottle with me at all times. Somebody mentioned like the little water enhancer packets. We keep Propel in the house. Some people have sensitivities to the sugar substitutions. I'm also I don't know about names, but Splenda works for me. But the other stuff gives me migraines. So that's just me. Other people may be more sensitive than others, than me. But we also use fruit too. Megan mentioned that, just to switch it up a bit. Because sometimes plain water is just too plain. And so just to keep myself hydrated. We in our house, we only have our bedroom as the air conditioner. So that tends to cause other problems medically for me. So so I have to make adjustments and exercise in my bedroom so I don't cause sciatica in my back. But as you mentioned, Chris, reducing your other risk factors is really, really important. You can only control what you can control.
Mm-hmm.
So like I can't control menopause, but I can control my stress level. I can control what I eat, and I can control all these other things. I can't control the weather. I can't control the humidity, but I can stay in an air-conditioned room and take care of me. So that's kind of what I do.
Definitely. Megan, have you fixed the issue with the sound? No, unfortunately, it looks like it's not working.
The deal is.
Oh yes, now it is.
Is it working now?
Yes.
Oh, yay. So I was just saying that if what you're doing isn't working, then try something else. And from research, we know that there's no cure for migraine. All we can do is help to limit the frequency or intensity or improve our quality of life. And in the meantime, I think that should be our focus. Our goal is to improve your quality of life. So if you've been on a medication for a year and you're not seeing improvement in any of those areas, go back to your doctor, because sometimes they don't move on their own and you need to give them a nice gentle shove that lets them know this isn't working for me. And I've gone through multiple doctors, as I'm sure many of you have. I found a great one at one point. She moved away, but at one point I was with a terrible physician who said, I just don't know what to do with you. Well, that's really frustrating. So you find the ones that do have ideas for what to do and you stick with what works. You should have forward progress, not backwards, and not stagnant movement.
Definitely.
That's my soapbox speech. Life is too short. You should be advocating for yourself and not apologizing.
You're so right. Thank you so much, Megan.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So people in the chat, do not hesitate to ask a few more questions. Also, I would like to take this opportunity to let you know that we welcome topics for next community get-together sessions. So do not hesitate to make suggestions, to let you know of whatever topic that we have not talked about that you would like you would like the community to address, and other things that maybe we've talked about already, but you would like to have more information, you know that we participate in research programs. So maybe there are things that you would like to see more outcome from research. You would like us to ask you more questions so that we gather data and give you feedback on whatever topic of interest for you. This is the power of having a big community. It also comes with engagement from us. So we're very happy to share with you whatever data we can bring out of the community, either by asking questions or with the power of our data processes, so that we give you feedback on whatever happens in your community or during whatever season, or the outcome of this relief methods versus another relief method. So these are things that we can do that obviously they require efforts, but we can, provided it's important to a number of us, we can definitely focus our efforts. I would like to remind you that there is a suggestion forum in the app. So if you go to the side menu of the app, you can go to suggestions and then suggest whatever improvement you wish to have, or whatever kind of research you would like to see in the app, and people can go and vote for your suggestion. You can also go through the suggestion of others and vote for them. So this is very important, and it helps us answer to your suggestions in priority in the app for future developments, or for future research, fundamental research or research with doctors. So it's been, yes?
Someone asked about acupuncture, and if that, I kind of see it going in the chat about acupuncture. I just recently started acupuncture myself, and for the first few months of trying it, I had a migraine right after, because I had an aura actually during acupuncture, and he saw the aura right there. Very weird. But then the next day I'll get a migraine, but then over time it has been helpful. So I saw some people say, oh, acupuncture wasn't helpful. Some say yes, it was helpful. It's kind of a thing where you have to decide for yourself if it'll be helpful. Maybe it's like some of the medications you have to try for a while. I'm not really sure. But for me, I think it's been, I've had to try for a while, and it's been helpful over time.
Okay. Thank you. I see a few other questions in the chat. Do you have, any of you, any exercise tips for vestibular migraine? I know there's a very specific type of migraine. The question goes on with it's getting colder and darker here in the UK. So there's the need to stay active. Yeah, so I understand that vestibular migraine might be something very specific. In the chat, if you have any kind of suggestion, do not hesitate to add it. I also see about seasonal allergies that play a role in migraine. And I'm sure many of us have seen that, witnessed that, or suffered from that. Maybe not only allergies, well, allergies and also related to pollution. So if you ladies have some kind of experience on that and ways to fight these, I guess there are a number of people in the chat that would be interested in getting your feedback.
No personal experience with vestibular.
Okay, I see somebody saying that with vestibular migraine, I found the best thing for it was to walk in a pool, wear sunglasses, and the water seems to help to stay upright and not be frightened to fall. Okay, good.
Yeah.
I saw someone in the Q&A, I think that might have been the only one we didn't cover, about to talk about hereditary migraines. I don't know if any of you guys know anything about that.
So there is this was the topic of last week's newsletter. Actually, there is definitely a genetic portion in migraine. It's still difficult to name any cause for the condition because scientists are struggling to define this cause or their cause, because at the moment we're not there yet. Still, there seems to be a hereditary factor to it. Unfortunately, research has not identified yet the gene or the genes that could be linked to migraine. So it's very difficult to answer that question. There is probably a link. So far, research unfortunately has not been that far, but a number of different research teams are working on the topic a bit of everywhere in the world. All right, so it's been close to an hour already. I think it's time to wrap up. If you have any other questions, do not hesitate to go to the chat rooms about weather or about other chat rooms in the app. They're here for this purpose. So thank you to everyone who took the time to join us. Thank you a lot to you, Megan, to you, Christine, to you, Mallory, to share your experience today. I wish you a lovely day ahead. I hope that it motivates us migraine warriors to achieve more migraine-free days. So feel free to reach out to us if you're interested to share for the next session. Have a very nice day, everybody. Have a good night for you, for those of you for which it's night already. And see you soon in the app and in the next community get-together session.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye,
Take care.
everyone.
Bye, guys.